but we are going to start. And I'm going to do it. This is actually what I kind of thought pattern-wise would happen. This is normal. This is human life. So with 8 people, I thought, what a perfect opportunity for a little specificity. Any question that you had, and I would love to use Tina today too, because Tina sent a great email. Part of this is data gathering for me, and hoping to help you along the journey. But I'll just give you quickly. Tina said to me, she said something pertaining. I can't get so exact, but it was that the left side was pretty much when she's on the floor, position 5. I would say the right side feels very heavy. But yet when rotating to the left side at 180 degrees, it was very hard to do, which means that side has got a lot of tension in it. So you're having these 2 counter sides happening in the body.
Yeah, weird imbalance, like one side compensating. And
you got it. And that's really it's cliche, but that's really the name of the game of all of us. Every body problem we have is an imbalance, and that's really what comes to it. And what I found in this 8 movements, it's your walk that allows you to first find out where the imbalances are safely. Then you start scratching your head, which is what I've done for years, and go, why? And then how do I counter? But I am going to share with you today, like when you get down, and I'm going to be guiding, when you get down in position 5, Tina, for instance, when you go to 5, where that right leg is heavy, you say to that right leg, you think you're heavy, I'm lifting you. So you start to now modify, and which we would call in the fitness industry, a single leg bridge. When you start to call them all these names, people get disenchanted or confused. But really, listen to the language in which even a doctor gives you. And you go, geez, I don't know, I have drop foot, right side. I'm gonna take a step back to the mat. I have drop foot, right side. So that really means there's only 1, 2, 3 joints above that foot. There's only 8 points on this side. So if there's drop foot on the right, most likely it's starting way up here. This side is dropping and the foot is like the last person in the chain. So I started saying, I'm not that right, but I'm sorry, being facetious. I'm like, it can't be this hard. So I started realizing that what happens when I grab a client by the hip and they start to walk and I lift up on their pants? Why is that foot not dropping? Well, I'm only stabilizing the right hip and lifting the right shoulder. So then I started to realize that if I got them back on their back, lifted up that foot that likes to drop and tell that foot you cannot drop and you will be heavy. I mean, high, not heavy, right? Heavy being down and grounded. I lighten the load of it. And the leg that doesn't like to be mobile, the left side, Tina, when you like to turn to the left, it doesn't like to be so mobile. Well, you say, no, you're going to be mobile. We are the bosses. We have the executive director function of all these body parts. They tell us how they're misbehaving, and we have to feed them the opposite of what they're wanting. So if your leg is heavy, you lift it. If the leg has got very little circulation, very tight, you stretch it. So on position 5 for you today, when you get to your back, the first thing I want you to do is hands on chest, right foot comes up in the air, left foot stays on the ground. That's going to be your one intervention today. So that's in position 5 on the back. When we do any of your rotations to the left, what I want you to do is take your right hand, no matter when you're going to the left, I want you to take your right hand and put it on your belly of the left side, and then start to rotate. So what I'm doing with you is I'm starting to trap your right side and tell it to stop being bossy. I'm saying stop countering the left, and you're going to stay put while I tend to this side. So all your left side turns, hold your body with your right hand, and every time we go down to the back, put your right leg up. Does that make sense? And then so what you're starting to develop within these 8 essential movements are exercise prescriptions. The body has all the capacity in the world to intertwine itself if you tell it where to go. So what we're trying to do is figure out where the body's gone offline, figure out, and then get it back online slowly. That's what we call modifications. Then once you start to put it, you ground the muscle skeletal system together, then you have to feed it well, obviously with some rest and some nutrition. And the body wants to live without you no matter what. It's our brains that get in the way. The body, if it could stay here for 200 years, it would. But we, in our decision, and our function, and our emotions kind of get in its way. But long story short, that's kind of what we're going to do specifically for yours, okay?
Thanks.
You're welcome. Anyone else have any specific questions before we jump in? I see. Yes.
I do. So I've always had lower back stiffness. Sometimes it's pain and radiating.
Yes.
For the past few years, whenever I work out, that's what makes me stop, is it locks up. I can't move, I can't do anything, so I stop. What's happening now at the end of each workout, I'm feeling that stiffness.
Yes.
But it's not stopping me. It's not terrible. It's not locking. So I'm trying to think of that as improvement.
I love you.
I do want to be aware of it. That's the one place that really, it just feels so stiff and tight.
Oh. Thank you, Lynette.
But not really painful. So help me to know how to deal with that.
So because we're all adults here. I say function, and I have one person on here who's been a client of mine in the past, or actually a couple possibly, but long story short, function, coming and going feel the same. You just have to know which direction you're on. Function going is when the pain persists and that you then are immobilized, right? So now you're like, oh my God, function is going. That's not a good sign. That's when you have to scream to me, as my aunt did, and said, hey, function going, function going. And that's when I intervened, because some intervention went offline too far and the body goes no more. So then it starts a compensatory swell and shuts the system down. But for you, it's talking to the region that it always has, but not stopping you. You're coming through. We have to look at the hip and glute as the sistering system of the upper and lower body. Huge deal, huge deal. Everybody gets stopped in that mid region. Everyone. That's the train separation. So if you're feeling that now, I'm feeling really good at week 2, that by week 3 and 4, you'll think maybe no more. That's my thought. That's my thought. Anyone else?
I have a question about, so when I went to see you,
Yes.
Joe's mom.
Yes.
Yes. I had my head tremors.
Yes.
And they kind of went away. I haven't had any since then, but I found yesterday and today they started coming back, and I'm trying to, distract myself to make them go away. But I thought maybe you have a little trick for me, whatever you did last time, that they went away.
So Deborah, I don't, like, you guys got to help me out. I don't want to be mushy. First of all, I saw last couple of times, I'm like, oh my God, I think we did it. But I don't bring attention to where it's not necessary. But I'm like, Deborah's head tremors. That's what we were talking about. I think they're almost gone. I think they're gone. Well, and so just to share you, since Deborah mentioned it, everyone hold on 1 second for me. We're going to hang with me today. It's going to be good. Running down my hall. Okay. I had to get this because this is what I did for Deborah at my facility. I was explaining to Deborah that, most docs or PTs, they'll pull out the spine, but I don't like to pull out the spine, because then you start talking about the vertebral disc and the compression and the nerve pinches in between and which facade and all that stuff. So I said, forget that. But that's what this was. When Deborah came to me, we were talking about a head tremor and knee pain. So how I communicated to Deborah was, it's called a chuck it. And this is what you use for your dog when your arm is not doing so well, or you have a dog that keeps coming back too fast and you don't want him to come back as fast, and you chuck it with the thing. Well, a tremor to me is this. A head tremor. So I go head to tail. And if you notice, when I hit this tail, which could be the sacrum, right? The lower extremity of your spine, and you go, wait, that's it. So I was going after a hip shoulder interaction, trying to stabilize Deborah's tailbone, really, is what it came down to, so that I could get the head to stop, but then the chest to open, the head to sit back so that it would stop asking or calling or saying, hey, you're leaving me alone. So it's a conversation. So every dis-ease, every malfunction has a communication. That's just saying, please listen to me. So Deborah, thank you for mentioning that. I think also, can I ask you this question? Have you been cooking a lot more over the last few days? Have you been doing a lot more bending?
Yes.
It's very easy. I'm not being, I get what I'm saying is that, because really, we come here for, when you're babies, you come here and you have to be soft and malleable. But then we come in to become in this big, beautiful spinal neutral pattern. I call this baby forming circle, see? And it comes to this life pattern that you want to be able to interact with. But the truth of the matter is this kills us. Spinal flexion is the worst thing. It just is. And most things, when you flex here, you also start to lose function back here. You start to swell in here. You lose track of what your legs and your toes are doing. So circulation becomes an issue. We're really supposed to be really part of our whole system, very dynamically integrated. Long story short, Deborah, we're going to do today in position 6 for you, you're going to be doing things like this. Really shaking your hands really, really wide and looking up. And it's going to be things like this. It's just to open up the scalene, pec major, and minor. Something got tight there, which then pulled on the occiput in the front of your throat. Once that happened, the head says, get back here. I think we'll be right back to neutral. But more stretching of the front of the body is one of the easiest ways to say that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. One more, we're gonna go. And so my sister's on the line, and this is her. She's told me right at the beginning, said, listen, I am a busy sister, okay? And I work 2 jobs, so I'm glad that she's on the line today. But she has pins in her right foot. I tend to remember all of you once you do it.
Yes.
But
two plates and 7 pins.
2 plates, 7 pins. So most people will have you then, you'll basically age the heck out of one side because it keeps you from inhabiting that side because it just doesn't have the range of motion. What we did last week is I had my sister, Deshawn, rather to say Deshawn, I wanted her to step out with her left foot and allow her right. So position 2, I wanted her to take a long lead step. Well, you can't take a long lead step if you have pins and plates in that right foot, not very easily, not without damaging the ankle a little bit. So what we did is we used the fixation, we used that fixed point, step out with the right leg because it's now stable. Heck, you got pins and plates. So you go out on it and you load it and you drop down on it. But then she had to put her foot behind her because it still needs to come back and learn to have that range of motion. So part of this is that this is your flight. Your body is your entity to reestablish, and you learn how to get back around it. And if you start playing with it and getting around, you'll be shocked at what comes back. So modifications, but we're gonna play, we're gonna start today. I wanted you to do that just so you could hear that this is so deep as we get going. And we're gonna play and see if I can help you, Tina, with that today. Deborah, if that comes back. And Sean, you know, when we do position 2, you're not gonna step out with left, only with the right leg. All right, here we go. So we're all gonna start in position 1, and which is our original position, standing tall. Good, and right away, so now, you know, we're moving. So you just, as soon as you hit that position 1, you know what to start to do. And if you start, I'm looking at a timer, then I get to help you cue. So soon as we call it 1, 2-minute timer has started. You want to be in that position for 2 minutes, but you want to find it, feel it, fix it. First you want to do is you find your roots. You see your feet. You make sure you like where you are. Good. By the way, that's the same as you are in any, you can hear the metaphors. It's the same thing you do in any relationship, any business relationship, any meeting is first you establish your footing, your grounding, where you are, what is your point? What is your standpoint? Where are you at? Because if you don't know where you are, you definitely can't go anywhere else from there, nor can you help anyone else. So it's the same for the body, same language. Good. And then once you find your feet and you know where you are, you say, okay, I see you knees and I see you hips and I see you shoulders and I know where you are head, and I breathe the whole time. If no other time, but when you're doing the Alston method, if you could at least allocate that 20 minutes to breathing regularly and continually, your body will love you and it will heal at least once a day, which is a lot more than most people are taking the time to breathe and to put their body through a set rhythm or patterns to be reoxygenated and circulated. Once you've done that, you know, a couple times, remember, every time you look down and up, you do it once, you do it 2 times. So you always show the body that this was a chosen pattern. It wasn't an accident, body. I did it once, I'm doing it again. And then once you've done it up and down twice, that's when you start to cover the right and left, or east and west of the body. And you want to think about the circle. And you breathe and you feel. And sometimes if you get turning and you say, geez, I want you to do a couple more times of that. And I want you to see that when you turn to one side, if your eyes focus faster than the other side. So when you look over, you say, wow, that looks pretty clear. And then you come back slowly. But then I want you to go to the other side and say, geez, that looks either as clear or different or dull. And then I want you to come back to the middle. Now what I want you to do is actually, if there was one that you felt like you weren't able to access as easy as the of one in movement or in nerve or in sensory, I want you to go back to that side again and breathe there for a while. So you go feed that weakness. If it's something showing you that you don't see as well there, or something didn't happen as well, don't run from it, go into it and breathe that. Breathe right into that pattern and you breathe there. And now that you're rotated a little, because I'm glad that everybody chose this side, I want you to open the hip and leg a little bit wider so you make it even easier to get to it. And now you just said to it, I'm rewarding you. I'm rewarding you. Went there. I'm going to help you be there. And their body will go, oh my God, you're so nice. Thank you. And then you slowly come back to the middle. I want us to pause there briefly because this is a note. You're really, the next time I do this, I'm not ahead of ourselves. I like to be where I am, but I have notebooks because it really you start to know and learn what each position, what you felt and what you did and where you're growing and where you're going. So now you take a second again and repeat right and left rotation and see if that rotation got any easier. Did the focus change? Did anything change on the side that you thought was harder? And really it should have, just by giving it an extra love. And that's usually what most things want, is extra love, less shove. Okay, we're gonna now go into position 2 and it's time. I think this is indicative of how you walk around the world. So I want you to look down, see where you go, and please lower your body down as slow as you can. See if you can go down for like 4 counts. See if you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and you really get all the way down there slow. So that means you stepped out with your lead leg, whatever leg that can hold you, whatever leg is your best leg to put forward first. That's going to take good care of you. And if you need something to support you going down, do so. Oh, Tina, that was fantastic for me. I was going to give you, so everyone, even though you're in the position, your position has arrived. So now start looking down and up, same thing, couple times, breathing, looking at making sure you know where you are. If you have pain, you adjust, you never stay in it. You kind of move with your hands. You might move your foot wider. You might grab your hip. You do whatever it takes to make it easy for you in this position. So Tina, now everybody's doing that pattern. You're breathing regularly and continuing. Tina, I want to say when that went down, it's interesting to watch that left leg dropped at the last minute. There's something in the left hip and rib and under your shoulder that's tense. So what I want you to do next, if you can, Tina, I want you to stand back up for me. Good, take a couple steps back. Now, when you take this next step out with your right leg, again, we're gonna do it a little different. Long step right. Yeah, we're gonna do the same thing. But now, Tina, I want you to look at your left knee. Look at your left knee, put your left hand on your left thigh and slowly come down. Breathe slow, keep looking at your left knee. Slow, 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 slow. Do you feel the difference? I can see your mouth, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah. What you did was what we did is I'm witnessing for you. I'm witnessing. I'm like, hey, and what I wanted to say is, hey, Mom, why the hell did you drop me? That's what I wanted to say. But then I was like, don't say that. I just wanted to I took your hand and put it on your leg and guided it. That's a conduit. The upper and lower body are supposed to play together to stay together. They have a communication. So just know that that's something you'll remember. That's that left side taking care of itself too. Good. Now that you're there, make sure, let's do something a little different. So for instance, for Melissa, Melissa, I'm gonna, and actually Shiva, everyone try this. Actually, everyone try this. So what I want you to do is try while you're down there, take your, whatever leg is forward, take the opposite hand and put it on the ground, even with that, so right down like you're gonna sprint, okay? You're looking at the hand. So guess what all we have? I want you to look at that lead hand and that lead foot. And I want you to say, okay, if I had to take off like a bat out of hell right now, I'd say on your mark, right? And I want you to keep looking down. When I say get set, all I want you to do is lift that knee up, the same side as the hand that's down, because the hand is taking place over the knee that's behind it. So now you have 2 points of stability. You have a foot forward and a hand forward. Good. And now let the knee down and then come back up to where you were. Good. Okay. So what we were doing there is really in that point, like you have to know that if your knee bothers you, most people say their knees bother them. Don't let your knee bother you and keep you from being on them. If your knee bothers you, you say, hand, give me some space. And you use your hand to adjust. You push up off the knee for a second. You might lift your knee and then move it over to the side, but you don't want to avoid life. You don't want to avoid these essential patterns. So basically I was using a childhood, playground sprinter position to say, it's going to help you get up off your knee. You don't have to avoid it. Let's do that again. So that same side, okay? So you're on that same side. We're doing a little longer in each position today. I just want you to play in them. Lift that knee again. Good. And now I'm going to go ahead and challenge you to stand from there. But stand and come through. Right? Because that's what a sprinter would do. He would push off his fingers and come forward. But yet we forget that our body's there to support us through all the movements. So now let's take a step back and let's enter position 3. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm chopping this apart a little bit now so you can do so much in these. Okay, position 3, use the other leg to come down. In this case, Sean, you wouldn't, right? You're going to continually use, safety first, always safety first. If you feel, now I see you, are you making that move? You're going to use your right hand and you're going to step out with your left foot. You're going to do it. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's go for it then. So that means I want you to look at your belly the whole time. That's going to give your spine more mobility, which is going to put more fluid in the back of your legs. So it won't hurt as much in the calf and that ankle when you go down. So keep looking down, put your right hand on the chair. Yep, good. And now just keep looking down. And if you need more space, you slide the right leg back, but you don't hurt it. You come down slow. That looks pretty good. Beautiful. I think you look like you're there. Okay, and then when you're there, you try to just be there and drop your shoulder, and now you look straight ahead. Now you're back into neutral. Now you're doing what everyone's doing. You're looking down, you're honoring your position. Good, Shiva, great job. When you feel that teeter in the body, typically that means we're overextended somewhere. So I would bring your right leg, yes. And it also means pull your butt back up under you. Do the butt out move, like butt comes back. It just meant like the middle of the body was feeling a little weebly, a little wobbly. And it just needed some space. It needed you to concentrically pull yourself back. Now that you guys are there, and I'm hoping you've done your down and up, your I, your T, the cross movement and breathing, I want you to actually take, here's a great thing for, someone asked me, one of the participants said earlier, So when we were on our backs and we were doing this move where you wanted us to touch our foot, that's just me giving you a point, something to do. I'm gonna now ask you in this position to take the lead hand and just scratch the back of your neck on that side. Okay, just check that out. And that, okay, now that it's up there, just look to your right. Look to the side that you're at, sorry. Look to the side of the elbow. I shouldn't say right. Yeah, look to the side of the elbow. Okay, good. Good. And look around a little bit more to that side. Open up even more. So keep going, same side, same, just follow through, feel. Now take that other hand and stabilize your body on the leg. Right on the front leg. Not on the waist, on the leg. No, you were right, Melissa. You had it right. Yep, turn to the right. Take your left hand, Melissa, and put it on your right knee. Good. So, you know, again, we start calling them stretches, but really it's the body saying, okay, if I'm going to mobilize to one side, I'm going to stabilize with the other side. And then we call it these names. We call it the different stretches and this and that. But really, it's the body taking care of itself at all times. Good. Now let's actually come back and let's do a stand up from that position. But first, do on your mark. Get set. So you want to look down and see, can I get up from here? And can I get up here in one smooth move? The side that you find, and it's a math equation, the side that is harder when you're not with me, that's the side that you want to give more time and attention to throughout your day. That means if that part of your body isn't working well or as well, that means when you go to pick up furniture, or sorry, let's say when you go to pick up something off the floor, you're not using that side. It means when you go to whatever you're doing, if that side is needed, you're not going to use it. So what I want you to do is note out of the two sides, which one was harder for you to get up on, and intentionally over the next few days until Monday, catch yourself not using that side and try intentionally to add function, add movement with that side. Go down to the ground with that side, pick up something just because, and stand up. And you start doing that, you're gonna feel how that also equates to the energy that you have in your body throughout the day. Okay, sorry, we're gonna go back down again. Use the side that you wouldn't normally use to lower you back down. We're gonna go to position 4. But you're using number 2 to get to 4, right? So just all these numbers are just there to play with. So you're using that leg to get down. You're using position 3, rather, whatever your weaker one was, to get down to all 4s now, hands and knees. You're now on position 4 and you're breathing. Now, on Wednesday, we played with position 4 a little bit because these are not passive. They're active positions. I like to think of the first minute of each position, or even if the faster you can get centered, the better, because then you have more time to play. That's like anything else. But I like to think of each position as the first little bit of time in them, just to know where I am, and then I want to inhabit the space. So let's now play in that space, and I want you to be there and just kind of wiggle, like if you were a dog, like wiggle your butt, like kind of wiggle it from side to side. Or if you think about those 16 wheelers that are double wide and they come down the road and you see how one is loose, you're so nervous it's going to come offline because the back truck is starting to sway in the wind. You're like, oh my God, don't come derailed. Well, let your body get a sense of that derailed feeling where it's swinging. And see that if you can get range of motion on both sides. That means when I swing my butt to the right, I want to feel it go to the right as easy as I do to the left. And now I want you to start to look in the direction of the butt swings towards you. So you go to it, you go to the look, go towards the hip, to the hip, to the hip, to the hip. Good. Now that you've done that, I want you to just take a big breath in the nose. And as you exhale, make sure your shoulders are supported and lift your knees 1 inch off the ground. But don't let your butt lift up too much. Nope, come back down, because that space can come from the inside instead of from the outside. So what I want you to do is keep your butt down, but the knees are what comes up, which means your spine has to move and your belly has to change. But you don't have to lift your butt to come up. Beautiful. Breathe there. And then slowly come back down. Good work. Okay, last time when on Wednesday, we did that, and then I had you scratch your belly with one hand. It's gonna be a little different. Perfect, Melissa, that's great. If those hands start to bother you with pressure, Melissa, this next one, I want you to actually come down reverse. Come down with not your palms down, but your wrist down. Most people never use this approach. Your body's there for you. So instead of bearing this way, you're gonna let your wrist be forward and your palm be up. And it's just a different kind of feel, Melissa, but use just a little different feel on them. And you might just do a little of that back and forth. So now that you're there, or you can use a fist, but you keep saying, body, I'm not leaving you. I'm gonna use what I gotta do to figure this out, but I'm gonna inhabit these positions. So now that you're back on fours, I want you to lift your knees up again. Good, but make sure your toes aren't down, their toes are down and digging into the ground. Good work. Because your toes and fingers are now the two things that are really helping you up. Good. Okay, now I want you to do is try to lift up one foot just a little off the ground, just a little, and back down. Good, the other foot. And back down. And you notice one of those are harder to do. It makes you feel like you're tipping. Do the one that was harder for you one more time. So lift the foot that was a little harder for you. 3, 2, 1. Great job. Come back to neutral, breathe, say thank you, body, for playing with me, because that's what we're doing. We're going to play in all 8 foundational positions until your body heals itself up. And now you have about 30 seconds to think about, how do I get to my back with ease? Position 5. So nice and slow. And remember, what do they say? Insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different outcome. Pain is very similar. Pain is for the insane. I've been there. That's okay. Meaning this, you try not to move the same. If you have pain, like what the heck? You can't go wrong. Move a different way. So even when you enter the ground, if you know how you would normally enter it, try some little trick, some other fancy way, a different way of like lowering, rotating, and doing it with ease, doing it slow, doing it while breathing, doing it while holding your belly as you lower yourself down. Now that you're in position 5, your knees should be bent, feet are flat on the floor. Position 5 is always a very like re-rooted, re-grounded position. It's almost like a squat, but you don't have to do any work. Now you're taking the load off of your body, you're putting it back into the earth. I want you to notice if your first position, when you're on 5, your hands are on your belly, chest, or torso. So position 5 means hands are always on the body somewhere, from anywhere from belly to head. It's just like they're there to take care of you. Also, Tina, pretty interesting for me. I catch different views. Look at your right hand is high, your left hand is low on your body. Tell them they want to be the same. See, yeah, no, same. No, same. Because you keep switching them. One's high, one's low. Make them even. Make your fingertips touch each other. This is funny. Good. Okay, look. Stretch your hands apart and make sure your middle fingers can meet in the middle. Then touch each other. Yes. Now you've just created symmetry. Great. Nice work. You're doing it. Okay, breathing there. And now I just want you all to just like let go of the daily lower abdominal stresses by letting your knees shake up, in and out, but more out than in. Remember, we play most often in our lives a closed game. It's really the world is saying open up. So we want to play the opposite end of what's happening to the world. No closing down, actually relax, breathing, opening up, doing a little outer butterfly. Ooh, a little flutter of the legs, breathing there. 3, 2, 1. Now let them stay out there with some width and control, but walk the feet out so they feel supported. You don't want the knees to feel like they're by themselves, and feel comfortable. Now take your hands, we're gonna play in this, and stretch your arms wide so they're on the floor. So now your feet are flat on the floor and your palms are flat on the floor. Now bring your hands down, arms down about 45 degrees. So they're going towards your hips. Palms are on the floor. Keep going a little lower, Shiva, a little lower towards your hips. Good. Now I want you to take a breath in the nose. As you exhale, lift your chin, look backwards, and lift your butt up 2 inches off the floor. That's it. Real small. This is great for you, Debbie. This is now going to help the head trimmer. You're going to open up the head, neck, and shoulder and chest. But now, Debbie, that you're up in the air, and everyone can do this as well, but this is an exercise prescription, the modification or the change. Now that you're up there, turn your palms upright. Good, because you used your hands to press off up just to get there. But now when you're there, you're open, you want to receive. Now wiggle your fingers and breathe in your nose, out your mouth. Good, bring your hands up in the air. Good, walk your feet towards each other. Under load, good work, good work. Slide them back towards you. Come on, work it back. Now bring them in closer. Good, and now 3, 2, 1, hands come back onto your belly and your body lowers back to the ground. Good, stretch your legs out. We're now entering position 6. Good, and there's, I know Shiva, so I can say this. That was a quick position 6. She was like, I'll do it right now. Good job, no problem, done. Nope, everything you do at your own pace, your own time. It's all about you. Don't let your body dictate, you dictate. Good work. Now you're breathing. You're in position 6. Good. I want you all to now in position 6, that means the legs are extended, kind of out long. The arms are away from the body. 6 is stretching. So it's a wider position. Arms are, it's like a kid's snow angel. That's what I like to look at and think of as 6, or the Vitruvius human. And now I want you to try to cover a 360-degree circle, but small. You already know if you don't move in this plane, probably don't get too fast, right? Mass times acceleration is force. So don't move too fast, but see if you can get your hands to go all the way back and touch each other behind you. Right, see if your legs can come all the way forward and touch each other. Because really, if the hands touch, the legs like to touch. Good, and then see if you can slide them all the way back down and touch, and they go wide. So they touch each other again. So the hands are going to touch the leg, wide stretch, legs come wide. So think about it, what a jump jack is. You can actually do jump jacks on the ground. You can do all the same things like a baby would in their cradle before they get up and have to be mobile or be stable or be forced or stressed. So you're kind of playing in that position. Think of them as jump jacks, think of them as snow angels, but cover this range of motion and be able to breathe when you do it. Good. No matter the cue, if there's one thing that supersedes all of it, that number is still that no matter what I'm doing is that you're continually breathing in your nose, holding the air in so it saturates the blood. It's actually lung, then blood, and then slowly exhaling from your mouth. So you're just showing your body, this is how we oxygenate and circulate. Good. We're now going to take our time and roll to one side, to position 7. Okay, good. I like that. I like good. Use, and when you roll, think about how, okay, hey, let's actually, whatever side you started to roll to, let's freeze halfway. And that means the one door should be open and one should be being pushed through. So like if you're rolling to your right, the right leg is long and the left leg should have shortened to push you over there. Because it's going to take you through the door. Good, now come back and straighten out one more time. Good. Now if you're going to roll to the other side, stretch out that leg, bend the other knee in and let it push you to the other direction. You have a push and a receiver, right? You have a door, good, and not so tight and close, Shiva, like so a little more, yeah. Because it's an anchor, it's a bridge to help you go over there. That glute is gonna push you over there. Yeah. And now come back again one more time. And this is where the industry came up with single leg bridges and hamstring extensions and flexes. It's just innate body patterns that we have to own and redeclare. So now I want you to decide which side that you normally were going to go to the other side and roll over, but use our new bridging technique. Pull the leg in, look over there where you're going and let it push you over there and then roll through. Push over with that hip and glute and go on your hands, like your elbows would be underneath you and your hips would be down on the floor Good, and your legs will be long. You're just gonna relax there for a moment. So you're still down, the hips are on the ground, because you're just getting there. You're like, you took time. You were like, I don't need to rush for anybody. Your elbows are down. If you have any shoulder issues, any neck tension, this is one amazing position. Like, this is proven to be just as effective, actually more effective than shoulder replacements. If a person can get to be shoulder bearing, you have just as much chance to rehab your shoulder by being in this position as you would on a surgery. Your body knows how to reintegrate itself. It does, but you have to kind of innervate it a little bit, let it be stable and mobile. The chest is open, you're breathing. Good, look at your belly a little bit. Let your neck free up, good. Look at one armpit, then look at the other armpit. You wanna just inhabit the whole space. Good, and now you're like, okay, I took my time, my hips relaxed, my back relaxed a little bit, I set my spine. Now you slowly come up to position 7, which is tall kneeling. And I want you to do it real slow, so slow, slower than you would ever imagine that you would normally do it. Let your body ease back into it. And maybe you decide to sit on your butt, on your heels for a moment, right? Maybe you sit down in your heels and you stretch and then roll yourself up. There's no wrongs. It's all right if you do it. And do it well and intentionally. We're now in position 7. Good. Let's find our footing, you know, like we would. We'd look and see where we are, first and foremost. It's also quite cool to notice, where did you end up? I see, because like I said, you'll end up maybe facing a different direction. It's cool. It is good. It's like your body gets cooked. It knows what to do if you just trust it. Good. Now that you look down, make sure you look up a little bit and then start to cover the right and left, east, west. And again, breathing is really numero uno for all these positions. Could you take the hand that you reach back with and go to the opposite pocket and get something out of it if you had to? I like to give clients funny scenarios, even at 80 and 90 years old. Okay, you have one hand, God forbid, but you got the key to get out of the handcuffs and you only got that one hand that's in the opposite pocket. Can you do it? Good. And then you say, okay, what was the other hand? Can I do it? It's the same silly scenarios that we used to give each other as kids, but we stopped doing it. Good. So now, yes.
Trying to get over to that left side.
Yes.
It's hard. So
Got
you do this.
You put that hand there and take the left. So now you're shutting down the right, and now you're going to turn to the left, right? Take your left hand and rotate with you. Drop your chin. And keep, yeah. What's it doing? Is it stuck on?
Yeah.
So now you take your left hand and grab your waist very hard. Good. Is it tension? Is it tension in there?
There's tension on my right, kind of.
Wow. Okay, put your right hand behind your back.
Right hand behind my back. Like
yes.
This.
Yep, you got it. What does that do when you do it?
A little bit of improvement.
You got it. So really what you guys are hearing me do with Tina is I'm trying to be Tina's body. And so what that means is like, wait, okay, not that one. Oop, not that. Oh, okay, put my hand behind my back. Oh, scratch my butt. Like whatever it takes. Like what you start doing is you start going, what in the heck do I have to do to make that easier? When you find that, you just healed again. It's truly the case. We don't run from it. We don't need to go to an OTPT, DTPT. You go, wait, body, what are you saying? Is there some way I can do this that's not going to hurt me? And maybe it might be now, okay, now it's referring up to my neck. So then the right hand goes on my neck. But you have to trail for a while. It is amazing. The body's going to tell you everything it wasn't talking or hasn't been tended. It's going to tell you everything. It will communicate. Good. Now I want you all to kind of think about coming up nice and tall. So how are we going to get up from 7 to position 8? I personally like to use, I like to, oh, Melissa, wait, oh, way, that's family. Okay, Melissa, we're going to get up different than that one. Okay, so Melissa, I want you to take your right hand, put it on your belly. Good. Take your left leg, step through. Good. You were gonna get up on a very small foundation, and you're not a small person in a way. When I say small, meaning in this world, we're not small people. So all I do is increase your base. Right. So now take your right hand, touch the ground. On your mark, get set and stand forward. Good. And Melissa, that was pretty cool. The only difference next time is when you stand forward, don't leave your hand there so long. Does that make sense? Can you try it again for me? You know, just imagine, would you want to step on the hand? The hand was mad at you in that moment. So was your neck. It was like, why did you wait so long? So now you look down, you stand, and you pull that hand out of there once you push off of it. Ready, go. Exactly. And you can feel it's called a continuum. That's smooth. That's a pattern. Brilliant work, Melissa. Now, everybody, just want you to do something that you may not have ever done. Not actually, you all have done this, I'm sure. Let's just take your hands. I want you to look back, and I want you to try, and I'm going to do it. I want you to find your foot. That's it. And but you got to see it. You can't do it and not see it, because how many jobs do you do without looking? You want to be a part of it. So you look and see. That's not easy. It might make you lose your balance, but these are the things I would have you do. Is in every position, you become the technician, the practitioner. There's nothing that you don't want to be able to do in each of these positions. You want to be able to play, inhabit your body. You want to be able to touch the back. If there was something on that back toe, you want to be able to freeze and get it off of it for a moment, right? Then someone else would call it a single leg, stationary, isolatory quad stretch. No, let's play. Good. Nice job. Now I just want you to, that same foot, instead of going backwards, you're gonna now bring it up and just pick it up and just like try to grab the foot. The same foot, instead of it going posterior, just look down and get the anterior. Yeah, just grab the foot, look down, grab the foot, breathe. Good, Debbie. You're doing what's called an ipsilateral grab. I want you to use the opposite hand, Debbie. So use the right hand to get, yes. Drop the chin a little bit, breathe, and make it a little slower, a little more free. Before you know it, you got a new dance going. This is good. Could be called the Icky Woods. Nice job. And now I just want you all to take a big breath in the nose and give me your lowest squat possible to finish. It means look to the ground, and the squat we're thinking of is let's get that marble off the floor. But be there and look for the marble, because you can't find it yet. You got to search for it. You may do wider legs. What if you have to go wide legs? Who cares? They call it sumo. No, I call it function. You go as wide as you have to get down there and get that marble, because that marble or that diamond, that's going to save your life. I don't know, whatever it is, but be there with it for a little while. Breathe for 4, breathing in your nose, out your mouth. 3, 2, good work. And when they come up, I don't want your head. I want your head to be the last thing that raises. Ready? Come up slow. Your head is the last thing that comes up. Safety. Grab onto your waist. Big breath in the nose, out the mouth. Resituate your new body. That's 8 essential movements, 8 foundational positions. I guarantee you, if you moved them in a different pattern and you circulated them, you've healed body parts and freed parts of you. But it doesn't mean, like we talked about earlier, Lynette, it doesn't mean that you won't feel this, because if you haven't been moving this way, you're going to feel it. But what I have learned is you're not going to hurt yourself with 8 essential movements. That's the beautiful thing. And if you do, that means we got to keep doing it, because we can't allow these things, which are key components and foundational movements of your life, to hurt you. We can let a burpee hurt you. We can let a military press hurt you, but we're not letting 8 essential movements hurt you. Great job today. We'll keep it going. And I think you're doing really well. I'm glad we did a little extra. This was after Turkey Day extra. We had a smaller group, which was nice. And each time at the beginning of class, I'll start trying to give you more about how we inhabit these positions. Great job. My guy is here. He's waiting in the hall. I can tell my day hasn't ended, but thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you Monday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
You
Take
too.
care, Juan.